Hi, I'm Carrie Rebrush, and I'm sitting here with Chris Nevitt, candidate for City Council District 7. And Chris, why don't you start off by telling me just a little bit about your professional background?
Sure. I'm a political economist by trade. I got a PhD in political economy and spent 6 years teaching and then 5 years running a public interest nonprofit here in Denver.
Okay. And how long did you do that for?
That was for 5 years. We founded the Front Range Economic Strategy Center in 2002, January of 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And I quit that job at the end of last year, 2006, to run full-time for council.
Okay. And what prompted you to decide to change careers and run for council?
Well, I never imagined that I would be in this position, but honestly, you know, I really fell in love with Denver. I'm not originally from here. My wife brought me here, and her family's been here for generations. And when you see the promised land, you know it. And I've fallen in love with the place and feel like I can bring my skills and abilities to serve the larger community. And so that's what I wanted to do.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Denver?
We moved here in 2001.
Okay. And where did you live before that?
Arizona. It was we lived in Phoenix and worked in Tempe. We were both university professors at Arizona State.
Okay. Now, I understand that you spent quite a bit of time overseas when you were younger.
Yes.
So how do you take that experience and what you learned and apply it at the local level?
Sure. I think you know, experience overseas gives you a broader perspective and a sense that problems are not unique to the place you are, but are problems in many places, and that there are many different solutions to those problems. So I think that foreign experience gives me a good perspective to solve problems here in Denver.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, what was your favorite place to live?
Oh gosh, I don't think I could pick a favorite place to live. Every place has its unique qualities. You know, I was born in Thailand. We spent several years in Nigeria. I went to high school in Australia. I mean, those were all great places. Spent a little time in Japan. Then for my dissertation research, I also spent time in Russia and China. So,
okay.
Yeah, every place has its attractions. But, you know, like I said, I thought I could live anywhere in the world. Now I don't want to live anywhere but Denver.
Well, what do you see as the top issues facing District 7?
District 7 is an interesting district. It you know, Broadway is the spine, and it runs down the middle of the district.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think about the east side and the west side, there are both sides are facing a variety of pressures, but those pressures are different, pressures and challenges. On the east side, one of the chief pressures is development. And our challenge is to promote appropriate development without destroying the quality and character of the neighborhoods on this side. On the west side, there's also development pressures, but a worse pressure is crime and graffiti. That's a major issue on the west side, and we have to get control of that so that we can promote growth, prosperity, stability on the west side. Both sides are really united around the question of schools. Everybody wants their kids to be well educated. Everybody wants the schools to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an issue that unites both sides of the district.
Okay. And do you have anything specific that you could say about the best approach to crime and graffiti?
Well, there's no magic bullet. You know, there's no silver bullet. You have to take a variety of approaches and take kind of a you know, not trial and error, but you know, you need to respond to the data you receive. I'm a big supporter of the broken windows philosophy of policing,
mm-hmm.
and that's very much data driven. Maybe it's, you know, my you know, intellectual background, but you know, having data and responding to data for policing makes as much sense as responding to data in economics or any other field. I think we also need to do a little bit more on the enforcement side for graffiti,
mm-hmm.
but also more on the side of offering kids alternatives to graffiti. And it's going to be really important to work closely with Denver Public Schools and other nonprofit organizations in that field to give kids alternatives to, you know, running around with a spray can and causing a lot of problem and damage.
Now, is it really just kids?
A lot of it is kids,
mm-hmm.
and you know, there are adults that engage in tagging, and there is a connection between tagging and gangs, and I think sometimes people misunderstand or don't connect the two. You know, some people see tagging as or graffiti as a minor nuisance engaged in by kids, and gangs as a major problem engaged in by young adults. But there is a connection between the two, and kind of group criminal activity by 13-year-olds with a spray can leads without diversion to group criminal activity of 19-year-olds with a Tech 9, and that's a path that we want to cut off. I've been endorsed by the Denver District Attorney, and he and I are very interested in tackling that problem and cutting that connection between the graffiti and the gangs, because we really need to nip the growing gang problem in the bud.
Okay.